in UFC history? Well, today, guys, I'm going to be answering that question. It's the holiday season, it's Christmas time, everyone's happy and jolly, but I'm here to remind you guys, man, that life ain't all sunshine and rainbows. And today, I'm going to be going over some of the saddest moments that we've seen in the past couple of years, the saddest losses that we've seen. And let's just get started with Beneil Dariush, our boy Benny Dariush. And I feel bad for him, man. And I'm talking about his last loss against BSD. And it's just the way he went out, man. 15 seconds and he goes out, one punch to the temple and he face plants on the ground. It was sad, man. It made me sad. It made my heart drop. I was leaning BSD in that fight, but I thought it would be more of a war. And I thought BSD might, choke him out in the later rounds or just go to a decision based on landing more damage. But dude, I gave Benny Dariush a good chance in that fight just because he's pretty good on the ground. He's able to out grapple Moicano and out scramble Moicano, who is able to out grapple BSD. And I was thinking, dude, if Benny Dariush can put on a high pace, go for takedowns, go for scrambles, land ground and pound, maybe he can gas out BSD like we've seen previously against BSD's other opponents. And that just didn't happen, dude. And I know Benoit Saint Denis he's got some good knockouts now, and his power on the feet is pretty decent. But dude, one punch, like he looked like Ilya Taporia the way he knocked out BSD. I mean Benil. But dude, Dariush's chin is just cooked, man. It's gone. And I hope he doesn't take another fight. Like honestly, I hope he retires. But if he doesn't, I hope he can just fight down the rankings. Maybe he can be looking at like a Grant Dawson match. But yeah, I don't think he should be fighting anywhere near the top rank anymore. And he's just a wholesome guy, man. And I feel bad that he lost. I don't want to see him keep losing because we've already seen him get chinned by some top level guys. We saw him get destroyed by Oliveira. We saw him get slimed out by Arman. And now we've seen him get destroyed by BSD. So I think Unk should just wrap it up. But yeah, moving on. We got Alex Pereira and his loss to Magomed Ankalaev earlier this year. And this was a pretty sad loss too, but it wasn't the worst. Just because, it was a close fight. If I'm being honest, I actually gave the fight to Alex Pereira immediately after watching it. But then watching it back later, maybe you could be giving it to Ankalaev. But I don't know. It was a razor close fight. But I'm just saying, like, control time, like, by holding someone up against the fence shouldn't really be scored heavily, if it's even scored at all. Based on the judging criteria, it shouldn't be scored at all. And I think the judges really heavily favored Magomed Ankalaev just because he racked up so much control time holding Alex Pereira up against the fence. And it's just like, dude, he didn't even take him down once the entire 25 minutes. And I gave Alex Pereira a lot of moments on the feet. I know there were never any big moments, and Alex Pereira didn't really do anything significant, and it was pretty sad to see. But the guy did land a good amount of leg kicks. He landed a hard jab in round five. And overall, I just think Alex Pereira, based on outlanding Magomed on the numbers, did do more and was just generally a little bit more active than Ankalaev that fight. But it was sad to see Alex Pereira just fight so scared. Like after he almost got KO'd in that second round. I'm not gonna say he almost got KO'd, but after he almost he got rocked. He got startled a little bit by that big hook that Ankalaev threw. And after that, he kind of just fought super scared, and it was sad to see. The guy was such a scary knockout artist before. We saw that knockout against Khalil Roundtree, that brutal Yuri Prohazka head kick. We saw him beat Jamal Hill super convincingly, super satisfyingly. And then we just saw him do nothing. Like we saw him become like a Leon Edwards type of fighter against Magomed Ankalaev. And I was just thinking like, dude, is this what it's going to be every time he fights someone who can wrestle, who has some kind of wrestling pedigree? And it was sad, man. I thought that was the end of Pereira after that fight. I didn't think he would win the rematch. Of course he did, but I kind of expected him to come out in that first fight similar to how he did in that second fight, but he just fought so tentatively and gun shy, and it was I didn't like it, and it made me sad. But it's okay. He got the belt back. It's all good. And we're moving on to Dom Reyes, guys. Dominic Reyes, the Devastator, who has been devastated in his last fight by Carlos Ulberg, and that's sad. That's really sad, and I was sad watching that because Dominic Reyes he's really a fan favorite fighter, and I like him a lot. His story, his comeback story was super wholesome, and I wanted him to complete the arc. I wanted him to get back to the belt. If he wasn't winning the belt, I wanted him to at least get a title shot. But that was never happening. I didn't think he was going to beat Carlos Ulberg. It was just the story of him, losing or losing a robbery decision to John Jones. If we're being honest, he did beat John Jones. But then coming back and beating three guys in a row, amazing wins against guys like Nikita Krylov, who is actually like a top contender, who I regard pretty highly. Knocking him out in like a Conor McGregor, Jose Aldo type of way, that was really impressive. And I was thinking like, dude, is he back? But against someone like Carlos Ulberg, who's who he's got the striking accolades. He trains at CKB, City Kickboxing with Izzy and all those people. He's got slick, good striking, and that's all you really need to beat Dominic Reyes, as long as you don't push the pace and come forward in a dumb way and charge at him. Because in that case, he has the power and he has the timing to beat you. But other than that, he sucks coming forward. Like, he leaves so many openings coming forward, leaves his chin out, and that's how he got chinned against guys like Jan Blachowicz, and that's how he got rocked multiple times by Yuri. And it was no difference against Ulberg. It was no different against Ulberg. And honestly, Ulberg, he's the guy that had to pitter pat decision in old Jan Blachowicz. Like, he had to barely beat Jan Blachowicz by decision, barely land any damage, and just kind of stand at range and not really do much. And that's the guy that destroyed Reyes in a round. And it was sad to see. I know I've said that a lot, but it was really sad to see. But let's move on to our next person, JDM, Jack Della Maddalena. And I was so excited at the beginning of his welterweight run, man. When I saw him beat Bilal, he was such a dog in that fight. Stayed in the pocket with Bilal when Bilal was trying to pressure him. Landed amazing shots, hard, powerful shots. And I really thought he would beat Islam. Honestly, when I looked at him, I know like in the least casual way possible, I saw his fight. I saw the fight against Dustin Poirier, and I was thinking, dude, this is literally just the better version of Dustin. If we think about it, he has better boxing than Dustin, more powerful, faster, better reaction time, and the way he puts together combinations, it's like no one else. Like, it's not even. Dustin has great boxing. He can't even put together combinations the way that Jack Della Maddalena has been putting together these combinations. Body, body, head, back to body. The way he mixes it up in terms of his striking and where he hits is so creative. And I was really excited for that title win. I thought he would be able to beat Makhachev and go on and, beat guys like he and Gary, beat guys like Michael Morales. And I thought that this guy would become arguably our next welterweight GOAT. But that just didn't happen. And it's the way he lost to Islam. It's the way he just got laid on top of for 5 rounds, grimacing. And then we saw his face in that last round. He was so defeated. And it's just, I felt so bad for him. He looked so sad, man. And he couldn't get anything going at all. And he got chewed up by leg kicks as well. And he reacted pretty badly to all those calf kicks that Islam was throwing. And he got rendered pretty useless. And that was just the worst. Like, aside from getting knocked out, I guess, this is just the worst way he could have gone out. And yeah, such an exciting fighter and such a bad, boring way to lose. And it was sad. But next, let's move on to Charles Oliveira. Charlie Olives, guys. I love Charles Oliveira. If you guys don't know, he's one of my favorite fighters. He's one of the first fighters I watched when I started getting into the sport. And I'm glad he come back. He's come back against Gamrot. But dude, that loss against Topuria in the summer, that loss against Ilya, it haunts me to this day. It's the way he felt. It's the way he just went limp, his head hitting his knee, and just going down and getting slumped. It was horrible to see. And I don't want Charles to take any more hard fights like that. I know he's fighting Max Holloway, and I don't think he's going to win. I think he's going to lose badly. I think he's going to get chinned. But, dude, like, I want him to keep fighting these, like, lower, like, ranked guys, these top 10, maybe top 15 guys, because then I can see him get wins, and, like, it'll be all happy, dude. Because if he fights these guys who have striking pedigree, these generally pretty powerful, slick, good boxers, he's never going to beat them to the punch. And his chin is pretty weak, and I feel like he's got too much mileage to be doing that. And against a guy like Topuria, like, yes, he could have caught Topuria with something big, with a big shot, because he is powerful and he is a pretty slick striker. Or he could have maybe subbed Topuria, but I feel like Topuria is too plot armored. I feel like Topuria, like, I sound like a casual saying this, but Topuria, I feel like has too much plot armor to lose to someone like Charles, who, like, if we're being honest, the guy is wabi sabi, man. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen the reels, but Charles Oliveira, the guy says wabi sabi, bro, and like that's what we love about him. We love that he's lost before and he's come back and he's gotten amazing wins and finishes and he made it to the belt. And it's okay that he's lost because despite those losses, he's still great, and he was never gonna beat someone like Topuria. Perfect record, amazing, boxing too slick and too fast for anyone in lightweight. let alone Charles Oliveira. And the guy just, he just slumped him out cold, man. It was sad. But finally, our last guy, it's Alex Volkanovski, and I think this was pretty expected. It's his loss against Islam that second time. That was sad, bro. And it's the way that he just like wobbled after getting head kicked and then falling to the ground and then getting his head pounded out. No diddy. Pause against Islam. And it was just like I just wish he never took that fight. That ruined my day. That was like a day ruiner. I remember distinctly just sitting there for a couple more minutes, just turning off the laptop, turning off the stream, and I didn't have a productive day that day. I just felt sad and I just couldn't help but think like this is Volk's first real loss in the UFC. Because if we're being honest, that loss against Islam the first time was like you can't even consider that like a bad loss or anything. That was a stock rising loss, and I mean that by like Volkanovski was more highly regarded after that loss than before because he did so well in the fight. No one expected him to do well. People expected him to get finished or like subbed in the first or second round. And he went out there, landed great shots on Islam, hurt him at the end, rained down ground and pound. Islam was like looking all panicked, looking at the clock. When is the fight going to end? Islam was so bruised and battered up at the end of that fight. And Alex Volkanovski was just looking like a world beater, regardless of whether he won or lost. And that was a razor close decision. And it's okay that he lost that fight. Like he then went on to just destroy Yair Rodriguez and just wrestle fucking like completely outclass him everywhere. And it was amazing to see, and that was prime Volkanovski. And to see that just end by taking a short notice fight, fat off the couch, like 2 weeks post arm surgery, not confident at all. He was visibly fat going into that fight, and it was so like that's the way his prime ends. And it's one of the greatest fighters, one of the most wholesome fighters in the UFC. And yeah, man, I was that was like a day ruiner. But yeah, that's gonna be our top saddest moments in the UFC in recent history, guys. I hope that didn't get you guys too depressed, but tomorrow we're gonna be coming back with a better, more happy video. But let me know, guys, if I missed anything below. Let me know if there's any other fights that I should have included. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys all are enjoying the holidays and spending good time with your family. Peace.